Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Going into the year, people are like, Bombers are old now. They're all 30-plus. They're an old team. Did you guys hear that noise, and did it motivate you at all? Or is there something else that motivates Willie Jefferson?
You know, the hate is always going to be a motivation for anybody that wants to move forward or succeed in any occupation or any endeavor or whatever it may be. You always want somebody to talk down on you so you can prove them wrong and things like that. But you always gonna have that. But the only thing that motivates me is just being great in my family. You know, trying to show my wife, my daughters, my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, friends, you know what I'm saying, my city, my state, you know, anybody like the young kids from my city, from my state, you know, from anywhere that grew up like I grew up, you know, that wants to be, you know, a football player or a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or anything you want to be. Like, you just gotta wake up and want to be great and not settle for less, not settle for mediocrity, and you know, be that. You know, I love my family. I love my city. I love my state. I love the CFL. I love my coaches. I love my teammates. These are the things that motivate me every day. As long as I can have those people behind me, I can wake up and I know I can be great and they're going to love me.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
I'd like to think that I've mellowed. Now that I'm 50-plus, I'm not sure that I have. But like I look at the Lemonator, I don't know if we're similar or not. I know for a fact that I wear people out. That's a big reason why I just keep rotating around. I wear people out. I wonder if Sean Lemon wears people out. I don't know him well enough to say whether he does or not. Hi, everybody. Yeah, that's me. Welcome to the RP Show on a very special day because it's Friday. Hope you're ready for the weekend. I sure the heck am. We're broadcasting live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino, where we have a very big weekend coming your way. I'll tell you that we are live on the Game Plus television network across all 10 Canadian provinces, 31 U.S. states. We're on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. Shout out Ryan on radio, where they really love their football. And, of course, YouTube Live and Podcast. Darren Moose DuPont joins us from Toronto. I'm just getting set and adjusted here, Moose. Everybody's excited. They're going crazy in the comment section on the live chat. I'm a little out of sorts. I left my MacBook charger down here last night, so I'm just getting everything all set up and ready to go. Dougal, meet Seth. Seth, we have a live studio audience here. There are more people coming. They've changed things up here at Century Downs today. There's scones. Help yourself, guys. Coffee. I'm telling you, this is the most wonderful home away from home Century Downs. So, very excited. How do you like us so far? What's up, Moose?
I'm going to start going across the street in the morning and just buying a box of pastries and making my coffee, just so I can get the full experience and make it feel like I'm in Calgary with you.
I feel like everybody's just ready to have fun for the next 2 hours because the text line, the Progressive Insurance text line, 902-518-3033, I turned it on. It's already loaded with football questions. So there's that. Let's quit Mickey Mousing and get down to business. Coming up on the program today, Pro Bowl quarterback Gus Frerotte, 19-year NFL veteran, will be joining us from Pittsburgh. My favorite Rough Rider ever, Jeff Fairholm, will be here live at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino to preview Week 8 in Touchdown Atlantic. And our regular Friday analyst, five-time Grey Cup champion, coach and personnel man, and TSN analyst Jim Barker. So let's go. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Yeah. Make yourself at home, guys. Yeah, buddy. We're going to open with Blue Jays because this is just to give everybody an update on what's going on. The Blue Jays welcome superstar Shohei Ohtani and the LA Angels for the first meeting of a 3-game series tonight at Rogers Center. Ohtani, however, won't pitch in the series after throwing a first career shutout in the first game of a doubleheader Thursday at Detroit. And as you know, he homered twice in the nightcap. Unbelievable. Never before been done. So tonight the pitching matchup is this. Lucas Giolito for the Angels against Toronto ace Kevin Gausman. Everybody else is breaking down the matchups, and that's awesome. That's what they do. But I was reading a story today at how disappointed the Blue Jays fans are, or some of them that have bought tickets are coming from all across the country to watch Shohei Ohtani tonight because they were told by the media early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, that Ohtani's going to start tonight. Now, he'll probably play, but he's not starting. He might be DHing, but maybe not even that because he left the game Thursday with cramps. So... Sucks to be you. That's all I think about that. You know, you maybe buy tickets to the whole weekend set. That's a tough one, man. What do you say to that?
That's sports, you know, and it's a rampant problem in the NBA right now with load management. You buy tickets on the road. Like I would go and spend money to fly to San Francisco to watch Steph Curry, or to go to LA and watch LeBron, or on the road if they're in my city, you know, whether it's in Portland or Minnesota or you name it, to watch these superstars. And then all of a sudden you get to the arena and it's a load management night for LeBron. It's a load management night for Steph and he's not playing. And it's like, why did I spend $250? I didn't spend money to watch any of these other guys. People spent money to watch Shohei. That's a risk. Like the ball team isn't obligated to play him, but it does suck, especially when the scheduled start looked like it was going to be tonight in Toronto.
Well, a very tough one, and again, sucks to be you. Like you say, that's sports. Well, but with ticket prices what they are, and everything, the prices of everything now, hotels, travel, all the rest. I don't know. Sucks to be you. Moving on, point 2, CFL Week 8 action begins tonight as the Ottawa Redblacks host the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Ottawa's on a 2-game win streak since third-string quarterback Dustin Crum took over as the starter. However, Hamilton is getting its starting quarterback back as Bo Levi Mitchell returns to action. Ticats lost to the Argos last Friday night at Tim Hortons Field. Man, that was a quick week now that I think about it. But that's the one good thing about pro football. There's not a lot of load management because there's not a lot of games. You pay the tickets, you're going to generally see the stars. And tonight, Bo Levi Mitchell, one of the biggest stars in the league, starts for the Ottawa Redblacks. Now, the line, are you interested to know how it's been adjusted by our exclusive betting partner at Bet Regal? At the start of the week, Ottawa went in as 3.5-point favorites at home, as it looked like a Dustin Crum for Ottawa versus Taylor Powell for Hamilton matchup. No. Now with Bo starting, the 2-time Grey Cup champion and the Stampeders' all-time leading passer, what do you think the line is? Because I have it here, courtesy the Bet Regal app.
I think it's gone to about 2.5 probably for Ottawa. Still as favorites. Maybe 1.5.
We have from the audience, what did you say? What did you think this is? Let's make a deal? The price is right.
We need a mic in the crowd.
Points. I know we're going to put it in mic. No, never. Pardon me.
It's just like suggesting phone-ins, right?
I was just going to say that. When we started this show and we sat around the coffee table and we're planning the show, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Paul said, what about doing a call-in? Remember what I said? What I just said. No!
Oh, no.
Can you hear them in the crowd?
Barely.
Okay. It's a 2. Well, I have that second mic turned down, but later on, Jeff Fairholm will be joining us. 2-time Grey Cup champion. So that's the feeling tonight. What is your feeling? When I heard Bo was out throwing this week, I did not expect that he would be playing. Friday night, I thought, oh, here's a guy that has the opportunity to come out a little early. They're not going to take him off the 6th game, and here they are. So I'm kind of wondering, how has Hamilton not become favored with Bo? But they aren't. Ottawa's favored by 2 tonight. That's interesting.
Yeah, Ottawa's rolling the hot hand, and there's some uncertainty in Hamilton, and it's about getting. I knew the line would slide a little bit to try and get some more money, because as soon as you find out Bo's coming back, you get a lot of money coming in on Hamilton. So you got to move the line to get the money back on Ottawa and balance the books. so to speak. But what I like about this for Bo is that's the Bo that I think we came to love in Calgary. The Bo who was fiery, the competitiveness, the I'm winning and I don't care about anything else. And he was so successful with that attitude in Calgary on the field. And I think him rushing back is like, no, I'm playing. I'm playing, confident. There's no, conservative attitude here. It's just we're going to go out and go after it. I like that. So I want to see him have that same kind of attitude on the field, that little bit of swagger that maybe has been missing.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He says, folks never learn. Does everyone think Bo will go out there and do something different than the last 2 years? Well, I'm hoping for the best. Let's be honest. He's only played a half of football for Hamilton, and it was a game and a half. Wasn't very good in Winnipeg in week 1, and then wasn't very good in Toronto in week 2. I want him to do well. What I tell you, I'm reading this book this week. It's about karma and stuff, and it just says, don't wish ill on other people because, number one, it won't work. It doesn't work. And number two, it'll be reflected back on you, and you'll have the ill will. So while I've been saying I've been cheering for Bo all along, I'm even more cheering for Bo to stick it up the tailpipe of everybody like Jeff, the Stamps fan, that think he's done. Which, by the way, Moose, last night I started watching the Netflix series Quarterback. I was hooked 30 seconds in.
So good.
30 seconds in, I was hooked. So Serena, she actually thanked me. She's flying here to Calgary tonight from South Florida. She's like, thanks for the tip. She downloaded the first 3 episodes of the thing to watch on the flight. So I'm like, oh, great, I'm going to be behind by the time she gets here. Because I just started it. But it looks real good. And having Peyton Manning to the degree that they do, from what I've seen, he's almost like the narrator so far. And it's real funny.
Well, it's his Omaha Productions that produced the whole thing.
Well,
so he's kind of the brainchild of the whole deal, which is awesome.
Brian in Alberta says, Rod, when are you going to tour Bass Pro Shop next door? You think, what makes you think I haven't already? Every damn day I've been over there across Iron Mills. I'm a mall rat. Which, by the way, the pizza place right across the hallway, if you recall, you haven't spent as much time here, Moose, as me, but they have butter chicken pizza, and it's sent from God. Award-winning butter chicken pizza right across the hallway from Bass Pro, so I see it all the time. And if you want to know something about the Golden Girl, Serena, who's on her way here from South Florida, almost as we speak, her happy place is Bass Pro Shop. Now that you know her, that probably doesn't surprise you. No, her happy place is Bass Pro Shop. So that's where we'll be going this weekend as well. Nelson's watching in Halifax, Nova Scotia. He says, Bo Levi changes the whole balance of this game, and it's literally a toss-up. He didn't play well to start the year, but he can switch it on and change a game. That's what we'll be watching for tonight. It's a Football Friday. Hope you're enjoying it. Our CFL coverage is brought to you in part by Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beer. Check them out at sobercarpenter.com and just Google your town and Sober Carpenter retailer. That's what I did. And that's how I found out that it's available in Regina at Lakeview Fine Foods, here in Calgary at Alberta Beer and Liquor Exchange, Calgary Co-op, and the beer store in Kensington, and in South Florida at Total Wine and More in Boca Raton. It's all over the place. It's the perfect sponsor for us. Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beer. Other CFL Week 8 games, the lines haven't changed much. We've talked a lot this week about touchdown Atlantic, Sask versus Toronto. Argos favored by 10.5. Interesting thing about that game, because I was reading the game notes, a few things. Ottawa's not the first team to win back-to-back games in overtime. Calgary was. The Red Blacks are the second, so that's still a good thing, but it's in the game notes that that's a fact. This is the 6th all-time touchdown Atlantic, and I don't know how you feel about this. The first 4 were in Moncton, and then Wolfville, Nova Scotia last year, and then Halifax on Saturday. The crowds at the start were 20,000 plus, and they've dwindled every year down to 10,000 plus. They brought in extra seating. 6 years ago was a vastly different CFL, was it not? We had a different, well, it wasn't 6 years ago. This was over a decade ago, which was an even more different CFL. It was a bigger deal. I was there in 2019. It was amazing. I loved it. It was in Moncton. Great town. So while this is great, I don't like how much they're trumpeting it's sold out. There's university games in this country that get bigger crowds than that, which is saying a lot in Canada. So I don't want to pee on anybody's parade here, but the fact that this sold out at 10-5, let's say, is not indicative of a desire for CFL football permanently in Nova Scotia and the Maritimes in general. Can we just say it's a marquee summer game in the CFL and leave it at that? Because I feel like there's going to be a lot of stories coming out here on the Schooners again, and I personally, as you know, don't have time for it. It's the Atana Club, as John Lynch would say, all talk and no action. The Atana Club. I don't want to hear about it. When the Schooners kick off in their permanent stadium, I'll buy a ticket at the 55-yard line and be the first one there. But until then, don't talk to me about it. That's how I feel about Touchdown Atlantic. You?
I think it's exciting. I think it's fun. I think it's a marquee game in the season schedule. We should be making a bigger deal about the game and the special thing of going out east. But I'm with you. Like, you know, when they unveiled the logo and the cheerleaders and all the things, I mean, I'm like, this is going to be awesome. It's happening. And then when it doesn't, you know, it's kind of like saying we're going to Disneyland and then we don't. And then I'm like, well, I guess we're never going to Disneyland. So I'm going to stop even getting excited when you mention it, that you're thinking about it. So I don't want to think about the Schooners, but we can still enjoy the game in Atlantic Canada.
Nelson in Halifax says RP probably dropped a salary worth of money in the Under Armour store. Just 3 golf shirts, that's all. Just 3 golf shirts. They had a BOGO deal on. And then another deal that was $19.99, because I wear the clothes that nobody else will wear. The bright colors, you know. I walked into an Under Armour in Austin, Texas. Well, actually, San Marcos specifically. It's a little town just outside Austin, Texas. They had a rack full of pink shorts on sale. I'm like, oh, pink doesn't go over big in Texas? I'll buy them all. So, yeah, the clearance rack is especially for me. So, yeah. Right. Pink isn't big in Texas. So, I just 3 golf shirts. It cost me $123. So, thank you for Nelson for pointing that out. When we come back, now we actually had time. Edmonton, home to BC, Saturday night. Lions favored by 7.5. That's come down a point. I'm not sure why. First game ever broadcast in Punjabi. In pro football, you can now listen to the Elks lose in 2 official languages. Did you not hear that earlier in the week, Dugo? I've been saying it all week. I thought it was an elementary. They're rolling on the floor here at that. Can you make a meme out of that, Moose? That's the best joke.
I got to find the original one. We'll go back and pull the original one. We'll turn it into a meme.
Good luck finding it. Anyways, BC wins, whether it's we played deal or no deal yesterday. Edmonton, go buy a ticket and support your team. It's unfortunate what's going on there. And then Calgary and Montreal, there are watch parties at the Shark Club, Stamps and Alouettes. And we talked about that game. Montreal favored by 2.5. I'm taking it. You're taking the Stamps to win at Montreal. So, look, most of this opening segment of the warm-up on this Football Friday for Sober Carpenter has been taken up with the Canadian Football League. When we come back, a lot more NFL. More CFL. Some NHL news. The Terra Sink show is touching down in Ottawa. Thumbs up or thumbs down on that. The poll question today, that's all ahead, along with Gus Frerotte, Jeff Fairholm, and Jim Barker. We'll return in a moment on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
I tell you what, this is the place to be this weekend. Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. Packwood Grand is here on Saturday. Frankly, I'd never heard of it before. Apparently, it's Canada's Kentucky Derby. That's what they're telling me here at Century Downs. I'm excited to be part of it. Witness it. I won't be part of it. We'll be watching, though, Touchdown Atlantic, 2 p.m. kickoff Mountain right here in the Sports Lounge if anybody wants to join us for that. Moose, before we jump into the NFL stuff, I'm here in Calgary. Moose is in Tirana. Fake Gainers written in with a subsidiary poll question today for Key Auto Group. He says, important question related to Atlantic CFL expansion. He says, is a Halifax lobster roll better than your highly rated Bell Center hot dog? I got to tell you, I don't even know what a lobster roll is, so hang on. I've been to the Maritimes many times. Blessed, grateful life I've had, as George Strait sings, my life's been grand. 2000 Memorial Cup, I had a roast beef sub from Subway. And I swear, Moose, that was about 2 in the morning. It's the Memorial Cup. Our team wasn't in it. We were out there fact-finding. And I threw it all up, all over the streets, downtown Halifax. I'm like, oh, that must have been bad roast beef. Got up the next morning, telling they like the stories, Moose. I'm telling the guys, the hockey guy, oh, man, I had a sub last. Beef, I puked it all up. Must have been bad beef. Guy said, it couldn't have been the 23 beer you had last night. Oh, no, I don't think that was it. That's never it. I made the rule then to never order beef by the ocean. Don't order seafood on the prairies. You're welcome. Free tips and a lobster roll. I don't even know what that is. Is that lobster in a bun? I've never had it, so I can't say.
It's like lobster salad, onions and whatever they put in there. It's like lobster salad in like a long baguette roll.
No thanks. I had a donair there for the first time. Didn't like that either. Okay.
Meat and potatoes.
902-518.
My kind of thing.
Meat and potatoes. Beef. I'm a beef connoisseur. They try to tell me in Alberta that it was 4A beef. I'm like, who do you think you're talking to? There's no such thing as 4A beef. You can fool some people. You lie to your people, I'll lie to mine. Let's not lie to each other, buddy. There's no such thing as 4A beef, but nice try. Progressive Insurance, text line 902-518-3033. Kirk in Toronto says, how about the Stampeders getting a new football stadium? I heard Calgary has the oldest stadium in the CFL. Most teams have new or upgraded sites. I don't have time for that. I have about as much time for that discussion as I do Atlantic expansion. Until something's done about it, there's no point talking about it. And I can't. There will be a hockey arena here before there's a football stadium, and even then they haven't broken ground on the hockey arena yet. So I'm not I want it. I like McMahon Stadium, and I get it. But it's a little like Taylor Field back in the day with the Rough Riders. People would come in and say, this stadium's so great, it's so historic, it's so awesome. I'm like, yeah, you come twice a year, bro. We're here every day dodging pigeon crap and dead wildlife under the seats and leaky, all these health code violations. So why don't you shut up and let us worry about it? And we got a brand new stadium. So as much as I like McMahon or the Saddle Dome, they need something new. But again, the Atana Club, Lynch, all talk and no action. Any thoughts on that before we move on to the National Football League?
Somebody's always going to have the oldest stadium in the league. Always. And
yeah.
But I mean, Calgary's a different situation. It's old. It needs to be replaced. I'm not defending the stadium by any means.
Go.
But until they're going to do it, there's only so much talk we can do about it.
Well, these are literal political footballs, and I did have a wonderful meeting with the Flames yesterday, the contents of which I won't get in here today, but these teams, owners, they do need a salesman. They need a push. It's like what's going on in Saskatoon. They want a new arena there. They don't need one, but they're probably going to get one because there's a push for it amongst the politicians and the wealthy business people. That's Saskatoon. They got the new football stadium in Regina, Winnipeg. Here in Calgary, they need a salesman. Who's doing that pushing? I don't know, but I don't work for them. That's not my job today. So NFL training camps are open, and you can get your NFL news literally anywhere. I don't have the NFL Network in my room, but that's fine. I told you I started watching Netflix, the quarterback series last night. You can find the NFL news. Open your phone, and it's there. That's what you want. But these are what's jumped out to me. Jalen Ramsey tore his knee up in practice yesterday, which initially I was shocked that there wasn't video of it. He's with the Miami Dolphins, for the love of God. They go to the bathroom, and it's 24/7 news in South Florida. But it was in an 11-on-11 drill, which would tell me they probably didn't have cameras allowed. Does that sound right? In 11-on-11, they probably didn't have cameras on it. Yeah. I mean, video exists of it, but not that I saw. Did you see video of Jalen Rams? And by the way, he's considered the centerpiece of the Miami Dolphins defense this year, which they think is going to make a Super Bowl run. So I'm sure the Dolphins have video of it on their team gear, but there was no media that has it, and it doesn't exist. So Jalen Ramsey went down. Says he's going to be back by the end of the year. I hope so. They're saying they don't even know the extent of the injury until he goes under the knife, which he hasn't even done yet. I mean, by now he might have. Again, it's privatized healthcare, South Florida. But 6 to 8 weeks minimum before Jalen Ramsey comes back. That is concern. Up in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow gets carted off. You saw that injury. I think we all saw that. He had his calf in a sleeve. He was carted off. And I'll just say this. The Bengals are supposed to win the AFC North. We had one of their reporters on, broadcasters yesterday, Mo Egger. I think they're predicted to have at least 12 wins in the toughest division in the NFL. But now Joe Burrow goes down. So our poll question today is, how concerned should the Bengals be with this Joe Burrow injury? Should they be very concerned, not very concerned, or are you undecided? And I'm going to tell you why I think they shouldn't be very concerned. But our daily poll question is brought to you by Key Auto Group. Key Auto Group, driven by safety, experience, peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. Now, yes, the quarterback is the most important position of all sports, but particularly on an NFL team. But here's why I don't think they should be concerned, Moose. He's a young guy, so better now. The kickoff of the season isn't for 6 weeks. It's a calf pull. Let him take the time off. He had appendicitis 2 years ago in training camp. I think that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. You know, so he's young. Let him have his rest. He will be fine. The Jalen Ramsey thing is a far bigger deal for the Miami Dolphins than this Burrow injury. What are you voting in the poll?
Yeah, I'm voting, not concerned. I'm concerned in the way that a parent's concerned about their child walking close to the edge of a high cliff or something. You know what I mean? The kid, if they're doing it safely. But with Burrow, there's now talk about, Jamar Chase saying, look, he looked at it and said, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'll be fine. And just a calf strain or a cramp, which is good. You don't want it to be serious. If it was serious, okay. But you're right. He's young. They're going to be fine. I get it. We're going to overreact because it's the quarterback. For Jalen Ramsey, too, that's a big blow because he's a prized acquisition. They've got 2 good corners now, really locking it down defensively. But at the same time, this isn't going to derail the Miami Dolphins season. Again, he's a cornerback, but he's a cornerback. He's not your quarterback. He's not your big play receiver. They'll be able to scheme around it and survive till he gets back. And then in the stretch run, he'll be a great addition to that defense.
That's what he's saying on Twitter, but of course, he's going to say that. By the way, Clark, do you have the Bet Regal NFL futures odds from our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal? Because they posted them this week. The Kansas City Chiefs at plus 600 are the favorites to win the Super Bowl and repeat. The Philadelphia Eagles are second highest rated at plus 800. The San Francisco 49ers plus 900, along with the Bills and the Bengals at plus 1,400. The New York Jets and Dallas Cowboys. And I don't understand why, frankly, the Cowboys are so low. USA Today has them predicted to have 3 less wins than last year, and I don't understand why. Listen, I have my problems, as you know, with the Cowboys and the way they do business. And that's my team. They fired Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator. Now Brian McCarthy's going to call plays. They've done the tinkering. They've rearranged the chairs. But I'm not saying that's the Titanic yet. Trayvon Diggs just got the big extension yesterday, 5 years, $97 million. I know Zach Martin, the star offensive lineman's a holdout, but they'll get him signed. I don't understand. Oh, yeah, Clark's got it. Can you throw that up? Just people love the visuals. Chiefs favored to win the Super Bowl, followed by the Eagles. Niners, Bills, and Bengals all have the same odds at plus 900. The Jets, 1,400, and the Cowboys. Then Lamar and the Ravens plus 1,600. Detroit plus 2,000. Same as the Miami Dolphins. So 2 of the teams in my sphere are what you would call, at least in the conversation, as Super Bowl favorites. And the Chiefs and Eagles were in it last year, so that shouldn't surprise anybody. But sign up and get playing today at betregal.net, the exclusive betting partner of the RP show. I don't see the Titans in there anywhere, Moose. I just want to point that out. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Thank you. Yeah, they're predicting the Jaguars to win the division. The Titans are going to be a team that, as a betting guy, somebody you might want to take a flyer on. A team that, could be, they call them lovable losers, whatever, teams that have some upside that are going to be likable with Hopkins now, Derrick Henry. They're always good on defense, and this could reinvigorate Ryan Tannehill for one last kind of run towards the Super Bowl. So they're kind of a dark horse. I would really consider them a dark horse. But for Dallas, I think I'd still be high, Rod, on the Cowboys. I really would. I think maybe why the win totals come down, I think it's because of the division. You expect the Eagles to be good again. They were in the Super Bowl. The Giants with Daniel Jones another year, hopefully will take a step forward. And now with Washington even getting better as well, and the cloud of the ownership scandal gone, they could take a step forward. And I think that's what pulls wins away from Dallas, just a more competitive division overall.
Yeah. A quick one. By the way, how do you say the NFL team name in Jacksonville?
I say the Jaguars. Jaguars.
Where does it say wire in that name? Say it again.
How about that? Hot damn.
Jaguars?
Say it again.
Spicy.
Jaguars?
The
Jaguars?
Jaguars?
You say Jaguar?
Jaguar. It's the way it's Jaguar. You're saying Jaguar. You Jaguar. 0.5. The Ottawa Senators signed wing. Man, I don't get how you get Jaguar out of that, but to each you do you, bro. And
poll the audience.
Is it Jaguar? A Jaguar. Thank you. That's what the live audience. A good thing you're not here, Moose. You'd be getting flogged. It's like,
bring it.
Oh, let's call our realtor. What do you mean? It's realtor. Can you not read realtor? Let's go sweep the chimney. It's chimney. Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting triggered on that. The Ottawa Senators signed winger Vladimir Tarasenko to a one-year contract worth $5 million on Thursday. The 31-year-old is a 6-time 30-goal scorer in the NHL. We got to push this to next week, I think, with the Tarasenko show, if it's not old news by then. Great move by them. Great move for him. 1 year, $5 million, perennial all-star. Go Sens, go. I think you're done, Moose. We're going to roll and bring in Gus Frerotte next. So have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
Later.
Pro Bowl quarterback Gus Frerotte joins us next. It is a Football Friday. We're live on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio in Atlanta, podcast and YouTube Live.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Century Downs Racetrack and Casino is the spot for the RP Show this football Friday. Packwood Grand is on Saturday. If you don't know what it is, follow the Century Downs social media channels to find out more. I'm really looking forward to it. Canada's Kentucky Derby, they tell me, in a way. And then the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association World Championships coming your way here August 23rd to the 27th. Get your tickets at showpass.com. By the way, before I jump into a sports update, Gus Frerotte sends his regards. He's driving and he can't do a video chat. He can't pull over, he tells us. So he's going to come on Monday. Gus Frerotte. So that's unfortunate, but we can continue the football chat without him. A game-winning three-pointer by Dwayne Notice gave the Vancouver Bandits a 90-89 upset victory over the Ottawa Blackjacks on Thursday night at TD Place in Ottawa. With the victory, Vancouver earned their third road win of the year and got some momentum heading into the championship weekend. Later next month in Langley, BC, the Bandits will close out the regular season Sunday in Scarborough. Ottawa, meanwhile, will need Niagara to lose both of their final two games of the regular season to earn top spot in the Eastern Conference and an automatic bye to the championship weekend. Niagara is slated to face the Montreal Alliance and Brampton Honey Badgers to wrap up the regular season. There's 3 games tonight in the CEBL. Montreal at Niagara, Brampton at Scarborough, Calgary Surge at Saskatchewan tonight. Sports update is for Landmark Cinemas. Coming to theaters August 2nd, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. And you can enter our contest right now, 902-518-3033, to win tickets to the movies for next week, because I think we already have a winner picked for today for gift certificates to the movies and the concessions on us. Text movies and the movie you'd like to see to 902-518-3033. Okay, Moose, welcome back. And there are quite a few things that we can get here. Larry in Madison Hat says, for some reason, I see a lot of pink shorts for sale on Facebook Marketplace by a guy named Rod. I've never sold anything on Facebook Marketplace. Have you?
Oh, yeah. Quite a bit, actually, but never close.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell used clothes on there, that's for sure. Okay. Brian in Beausejour, Manitoba says, good day, Rod Squad. Have you spoken to Serena about what the Oilers need to do to become the bride and not the bridesmaid at next year's Stanley Cup wedding? We try to limit the Oilers talk as much as possible because she's irrational when it comes to her hockey team. But she lands tonight here in Calgary. I'll be picking her up. And you know what? We'll put her on the show next week here at Century Downs. And you can ask her yourself, Brian, what the Edmonton Oilers need. We've talked about it, well, all of us, enough. I haven't talked with her about it. But they're fine. They're fine. They lost out to the eventual Stanley Cup champions the last 2 years. All they need to do is keep the gang together. And by the way, because we skimmed on this real fast, was it yesterday or the day before, somebody said, what about their goaltending? And I'm like, their goaltending's fine. They've been going through goalies like crazy. They got a homegrown, home-developed guy in Stuart Skinner. Don't mess with it. Why do they always got to go messing with stuff?
I don't know. I mean, you've got your guy, just ride it out. I mean, the thing is, though, when you haven't won and when you haven't been able to get over the hump, you know, you always say from one of the football guys, better is better, right? And if, you know, I've seen it in our comments on our videos, you know, they need to get Hellebuck. And then they'll be able to win a Stanley Cup. Well, you got a guy who's growing and who's got a comfortable salary that's really favorable right now for the organization to grow and add pieces around him. So I would say keep going. If it's a complete train wreck, which it shouldn't be, address it at the trade deadline. But until then, you got to, I mean, you said it, he was a Calder finalist. I mean, everything in that position is trending up. So ride the wave.
They've had a merry-go-round of coaches there, a merry-go-round of goalies. Can you just chill for a while? And by the way, nobody's complaining. We're just rhetorically saying, let it percolate for a while. Let the meal marinate, you know, whatever you want to say. It's in the slow cooker. Don't add any more spices. Which is another thing. Kirk in Toronto, watching on Game Plus TV, says, "Hi, Rod. Argonauts are 5-0 and not a peep on Toronto sports radio. Thanks to you and Moose for all the CFL talk. Long live the RP show." That from Kirk in Toronto. Stephen in North Dakota writes in on the Progressive Insurance text line, and he says, "I am tardy to the RP show, but it's enjoyable natter. Enjoy the weekend." Well, glad that you're enjoying it. That's what we do here, Stephen. But I found this interesting. Did you watch the social media coverage of the Rough Riders plane touching down in Halifax last night for Touchdown Atlantic? Somewhere along the way, maybe it was before they left Saskatchewan or since they got to Halifax, the head coach, Craig Dickinson, said, "Mason Fine is our quarterback." People need to understand something. And I don't know if it's like this with Calgary football fans or really anywhere else. I haven't lived a lot of other places. South Florida, they're not clamoring for the backup quarterback with the Miami Dolphins. But for whatever reason, Craig Dickinson, the head coach, came out and said, "Mason Fine's our quarterback." Because he felt the need to say that heading into the Touchdown Atlantic. And it's nice for Mason, probably, to get that reassurance from his head coach. But when I was around the rectangle last weekend going home for a wedding, and all these people coming up to me, literally in the restaurants, gas stations, coffee shops, they don't want Mason Fine. They want the third-string quarterback, Jake Dolegala, the 6'7" quarterback. And it's like, you people literally always want the backup. You got to stop. You got to stop. What is it that they have against cheering for the number one guy? I don't get it. Or in this case, Mason Fine. He's the guy, and the coaches felt the need to come out and say, he's the guy until he's not the guy. And we might see Jake Dolegala in the game Saturday, but can you just cheer for your guy? I don't get it. Man, it's a hard place to play football, man.
It is. It's not completely unique, but it's pretty wild. I mean, it's like that every single year, no matter who's the quarterback. It's a little bit like, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. Sometimes you just got to be happy with what you have and grow what you have. And, you know, yes, strive to evolve and be better, but I mean, you got to give the guys some time to develop and get comfortable. And I like that the coach came out and said, he's our guy. And I just hope the message in the locker room is consistent and the same, and I'm sure it is, you know, so he's not looking over his shoulder and he can just be comfortable and go out and play football. But yeah, it is something, man, to play in that market.
It's a little like my colleague, but also counselor, Ryan Teed, when I was going through things the last few years. He was like, I don't totally understand what you're dealing with, but help me understand what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? That's somebody you want on your side. So I'm sitting here going, in Calgary with the Flames, it's all Flames all the time. There's a lot of pressure. And I'm like, well, if it's anything like Saskatchewan and the quarterback and what the coaches go through, it must be a lot. So Calgary's this with the Flames. The Stamps don't have anywhere near that amount of pressure. But then Toronto, what they tell me, is a step above with the Leafs. And I'm like, I can't imagine if it's worse than Calgary with the Flames or in Saskatchewan with the Rough Riders. And yet they keep having a revolving door. In all those places, the Flames got a new coach this year. You know what I mean? Leafs got a new general manager. Like, it's just, it doesn't work. That does not work. The revolving door does not ever work. But maybe when we come back, we'll talk about some places where it has. Let's look at the champions the past few years in all the leagues. Those revolving doors don't work, and yet the fans want it. I don't get it. Vegas, yes. The exception that proves the rule. Jeff Fairholm coming up in hour 2 and Jim Barker. We can discuss this with them, too. Moose and I, one more segment with him when we come back. Audience takeover right after this. We're live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
I'm Bridget Lacroix. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Packwood Grand will be taking over Century Downs Racetrack and Casino Saturday right there. It's going to look a little different than that. But we'll also be watching Touchdown Atlantic here, 2 p.m. Mountain Saturday if you want to join us in the Century Downs. I'm calling it the sports bar. They call it the lounge. Just come on down and enjoy it. It should be a good game. So we're having a fun chat. Our Hour 2 guest is in the house, two-time Grey Cup champion Jeff Fairholm. And also Jim Barker coming up in Hour 2 as well. Moose is here. So just talking about championships and what it takes to win. And by the way, if it was easy, everybody would do it. But Norm Fong writes in. You know him? Fairways. Oh, yeah. I'm joking, of course. They won a championship together. Fongo on the Progressive Insurance text line says, Rod, I agree with you. Football is tough to play, but it's even harder with the Riders because there's always 20,000 plus coaches in the stands every game. Great show, Rod. Signed Fongo. But it's not just that. It's the 250,000 in town, the million in the province. The game doesn't end when the final gun goes. It goes all week, right, Fairway? It goes all week. And what's interesting here, and by the way, South Florida, exact same thing, but they're not clamoring for the backup in Miami. That's what I don't understand. They always want the backup quarterback in Sask. I don't know, do you people in Toronto want the backup goalie all the time with the Leafs? I don't I don't understand. I think you do, don't you? You're never happy with a starter.
Never happy unless he's playing like a Vezina candidate, and it's like your goalie's just every goalie in the league's not going to play like a Vezina candidate. They're not all going to be up for the trophy at the end of the year, and the options aren't always that much better when you think of the second guy. He's a second string for a reason.
We're not going to change people. So the sooner you realize that and give up, the happier you'll be. But Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and says, nothing is like being a starting quarterback in Sask, not even in the NFL. And that may be true, but he says, I think Rider fans really wanted Bo. Well, who said you're getting your hopes up too high and you're going to be brokenhearted? This guy. But again, nobody listened. But the thing is, I'm not sure Cody Fajardo, I shouldn't speak for him, but I think he lost his mind playing there. I think he lost his mind. And I told you, Dunnigan and I talked about it in Pedersen Airport a month ago. He was like, he shouldn't have called out his receivers publicly like he did. And I said, well, Kent used to. And Dunnigan goes, doesn't make it right. That was the start of the downslide for Cody. But the thing is, it's the pressure of being in front of the microphones. You wonder, it's not flipping easy, man, especially when you're talking to him right after a game that you lost.
Yeah.
So you have a tough time believing that it's that hard to operate in a pressure-filled market, but maybe it is. I don't know. That's a conversation we're going to have with Jeff and Jim Barker next hour, part of our conversations, because they both won championships. But for Craig Dickinson to have to come out and declare Mason Fine's our quarterback, I feel like we all knew that. But he felt the need that he had to say that. There had to be a reason. Craig's not a dumb guy, right?
No, he's not. Very smart. And he said in there, too, he's like, Trevor Harris is not here. He didn't mention Jake Dolegala, which I think is important. Don't mention him. Look, the season started very promising, but Trevor's not here, and Mason is our guy, so we're going to ride with him. I think that was, a really important statement. It's just too bad that he had to make it. We knew that Mason Fine was the number one guy. He was number two before.
From viewer Rob Scott watching in British Columbia, he says, what's the spread on Lions Elks? 16 points? Shockingly, it's only 7.5. 7.5 at Bet Regal. Fairholm's all over it. You a gambler? He says, we knew. 7.5 at Bet Regal. I thought it would be more. Argos 10.5. Toronto over Sask. And Calgary 2.5 Road Dogs at Montreal. Now, Moose, you're officially done. So go have a great weekend.
You too.
Jeff Fairholm and Jim Barker coming up after this brief pause on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, live from Century Downs in Calgary. Also, podcast and YouTube Live.
How about that?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Lake Center, you can mark this airborne off the scene. ETA 2 minutes.
The prizes are a draw, but the cause, that's the clincher.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
And marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
I'd like to think that I've mellowed now that I'm 50 plus. I'm not sure that I have, but like I look at the Lemonator, I don't know if we're similar or not. I know for a fact that I wear people out. That's a big reason why I just keep rotating around. I wear people out. I wonder if Sean Lemon wears people out. I don't know him well enough to say whether he does or not. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show, Hour 2 of a Football Friday. We're coming at you live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino in beautiful Calgary, Alberta, where we're very excited about a very fun weekend. CFL Week 8 is at hand. It kicks off tonight. We haven't addressed the NHL a lot because it's a Football Friday, and NFL training camps were in full swing. Our poll questions related to that. I will tell you, coming up this hour, Jim Barker, 5-time Grey Cup champion, 2-time Grey Cup champion Jeff Fairholm joins us live here, and I feel bad. Jeff Fairholm, with the Argos and the Riders, he's won CFL championships, and man, you just had surgery. Old football injuries, eh?
I guess so.
Catching up to you.
I had a hip replaced 2 weeks ago, so I'm moving around pretty good.
Yes, as you said, I'm dragging you around to every casino in Calgary. If you ever go, can they build one on the west side? It'd be much easier for you.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, but I know you're always down to talk football. Jeff won a Grey Cup CFL title in 1989 with Saskatchewan, and in 1996 with the Toronto Argonauts, and he is, incidentally, my favorite all-time Rough Rider, so it's always a pleasure to interview him. And as I've said to you, when you meet your heroes, you hope not to be disappointed. Jeff's been better. So how excited are you for Touchdown Atlantic on Saturday with your two former teams?
Yeah, I know. I really wish I was thinking of going, and then the surgery came up, so obviously I'm not there. But I was looking forward to going. I've been to one. It is quite...
We were there together.
That's right, yeah. That's right. We're at the golf tournament and stuff, and it was, it's a fun time. I think it's great to go somewhere else. I'm sure the players enjoy it. I liken it to when we had the American teams, and you got a chance to go to some different cities instead of going to Edmonton 4 times a year. So,
yeah,
it's, or should I say Winnipeg? Yeah, Winnipeg.
Whatever it is, yeah.
So it's a lot more fun for the players. I think it's exciting. The fans that go have a lot of fun, and hey, what better city than Halifax to have some fun in?
Absolutely. It's the marquee summer game in the Canadian Football League being played in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Now, we're carried out there on Eastlink Cable, Rogers Cable, on Game Plus Television. We have a lot of viewers out there, and that's why I don't mind spending a significant amount of time on the game. And because we were both there, I want to know your thoughts on the environment, the appetite for pro football out there. What did you sense? Now, this is 2019. Feels like a lot longer ago than that.
Sure does.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Well, COVID was in between.
We went through COVID, which took, what, 10 years? So it's hard to say. I think that the game itself was good. The people seemed to be into it, but it's hard to tell how many people are traveling to the game. You know, so I don't know how many locals were there. And I think we were in Moncton, weren't we?
Yep.
I think we were in Moncton. So we went to Moncton, and, you know, I think Moncton might be the right spot if they build a team. So I don't know what Halifax is like. I don't know, you know, having a game there, what it's like. But from all intents and purposes, it sounds like it's well received. So whether or not that transitions into another team in Atlantic Canada, I don't know. I mean, it's taking too long, so I would say no.
Yeah.
But you know, it's fun. It's fun regardless for this week.
But that's the point. It's one thing to go in there once a year, and it's another to put a team in there.
Right. Oh, it's very different. Yeah.
Right. And I just felt that day at the game. Again, you're there as an Argos alum, watching your team against Montreal. Great game, went down to the last play. Yep. As you recall, Kahari Jones's Alouettes versus, I can't remember who was coaching the Argos then. Do you?
No.
No, I don't even remember.
I know Danny Webb was there. That's how.
Yeah. Well, I do, and I do remember before. And Bob Bronk.
Yeah.
Now the head of the CFL Alumni Association, or I think he's the president. But the pregame hype, the festivities, they did it great. Damon Allen addressed the crowd. They had the interactive exhibits. It's everything you would want. And I assume that'll be the same way this weekend. Now, having said that, it's a little like a mini Grey Cup. There's the party, there's the events, and there's the game. Right? Two distinct different things. Argos are favored by 10.5. You go along with that or not?
That's a big spread in the CFL, but
yes,
it's hard to argue. I mean, you know, the Saskatchewan defense has not shown that they can play 2 games in a row. And the defense showed up against BC. I thought they played a great game, and they got a little tired at the end, but I thought they played great. Can they parlay that into 2 games? I don't know. And against a high-powered Toronto offense, that's going to be rough. But the defense has to step up because the offense right now is sort of limping on both legs.
So you were an Argo. You won a Grey Cup in '96 with them. You played with Flutie. How do you like this talk that if they go 6-0, they've only been one other time, 1935? John Lynch remembers. He's about the only guy, right? To say this is the best Argo team ever is saying a lot. And nobody's really saying that but me, but they're off to a great start.
They are off to a great start, and they look good. And at the start of the season, everyone was saying, well, the Argos look good. And I said, well, it all depends on Kelly. I mean, he's an unknown guy. He played good for what he did in the Grey Cup last year. But I think he's playing great. And, you know, I'm a sort of show-me kind of guy, and he's shown me, and he's playing great. I think as long as he stays healthy, this team, with that defense that they have and the offense as powerful as it is, you know, they have a chance to do some wonderful things.
Rob in BC says, I'm not sure the CFL can successfully locate a team in the Atlantic region long term. As a novelty one-off, it's a huge success, but through thick and thin, I don't know. Well, I guess you never know until you try.
Right.
You must feel pretty charmed that you got to play in Sask, which is the, as they say, Green Bay of the CFL. I've heard in the States people say it's the Dallas Cowboys of the CFL. Sure, it's just awesome. Well, in terms of profile,
yeah, maybe.
You know, that's all. Yeah, other than that, no. More Green Bay.
Yeah, I would say Green
Bay. But then Toronto, the biggest city in the country, you got to play there, right? That's pretty good markets to win championships with and be alum of.
Yeah, I mean, sure, anytime you win a Grey Cup, it's a great market to be in. But, you know, when you go from Regina to Toronto, aside from the size of the city and the different people, the way that Saskatchewan treats a big fish in a small pond versus Toronto, where you're a small fish in a big pond, it's very different. I mean, you could get into a taxi or walk in Toronto and not meet anybody that would recognize you as a football player. But in Regina, you know, you can't
go anywhere.
You can't go anywhere without being recognized. So it's very different. You're still a professional football player, but they've got a lot else going on in Toronto. But it's growing, and you know, if they keep winning, it's going to do nothing but put bums in the seats, which is fantastic for the CFL and especially the Toronto Argonauts.
Viewer Janelle says, I think it's a bit soon to call them the best Argo team of all time. Is there no concern that the Argos are peaking too soon? How many times have we seen that happen and by their own eye? Nobody's saying it but me. Let's just say, I'm just going by the numbers. They're 5-0, and they've only been one other time. And it's also, who are these guys? You can't tell me that they know in the market who Chad Kelly is or AJ Ouellette or half these guys. Like pinball, everybody knew. Chris Schultz, they knew. Yep. Right?
Well, and they're going to get to know them as they continue to win. I mean, it takes a long time. I mean, pinball is an anomaly. Everybody knew pinball from day one. But you know, everyone does know a lot of those superstars that were there in the past, but it takes time. And you know, I call Toronto a show me state. They're like Missouri. And it takes a while for people to jump on the bandwagon because that's the way the Toronto fans are. Aside, of course, from the extremely loyal Argo fans that have been there forever, which are far and few. But the major population needs to see something that's going to give them some entertainment. And not only are they winning, they're winning entertainingly.
I don't know if I've ever asked you. You consider Montreal as your hometown?
I don't really know. I'm kind of all over Montreal, Toronto, you know. Okay. Yeah, whatever.
I just wondered if it was nagged you that you didn't play for the Owls, but clearly it doesn't.
No.
Okay.
Well, the Owls didn't exist when I played, so I think I only played against the Owls, one time when they came back in 96. So I only played one game against them.
Good point. Well, so that feeds into John Ohm in Winnipeg says, any funny stories about playing in the USA in the 90s during CFL expansion days, Jeff?
Well, funny story. I guess I have a lot that I can't say on air, but being in Shreveport, Louisiana, I can tell you was no fun. You could cut the air with a knife. It was just brutal. And we had, I remember catching a pass and running for a touchdown in Shreveport. And like halfway through the first quarter, and I went to the sidelines and told the trainers, I'm done. My legs were completely shot. I had 2 IV bags at halftime. We had people on the bus throwing up because everyone was dehydrated. It's just a terrible place to play. and I don't know what it's like to live. But, being able to go to those places, Sacramento and Las Vegas and San Antonio, they're fun cities. So it was just fun to get to some different places.
Do you think it was because you weren't acclimated to it? Because I go to these high school 7-on-7 events. In July, I did it, and those kids were acting like it was no big deal. Yeah, but they were raised in it.
I was playing for Toronto then when we did that, and Toronto's pretty humid. But I'll tell you, it was nothing like Shreveport, Louisiana. You got off the bus and you instantly started sweating. So.
Yeah. Bill Edwards says, Argos should win by 10. Go Argos. Shh. For best ever until after the last game of the year, says Bill. Rob says, in BC, says, everybody should know Ouellette by now. He's a Georgia guy. He's the one with the long blonde hair and the mullet. By the way, from what I've seen in Georgia, I've been through there a few times, everybody looks like that. He stands out in Toronto.
Yeah.
Not Georgia.
He stands out on the football field, too. What a football player.
He's a stud.
And he's that lunch pail, blue-collar kind of guy that people can fall in love with, and he just works hard. Just love watching him.
Jeff's going to be with us. By the way, it's 11:11 Mountain, 1:11 Eastern. That's a good sign. Jeff's going to be with us for a couple segments, but Jem Barker's coming up in the next segment. You've been in this town long enough to have seen all the Bo Levi exploits, all the hype. See you starting tonight, coming off a 6-game early.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, they need him too. I mean, they need somebody who can run that offense. Now, he didn't exactly play great when he started those first few games, but they need him to play well. They're playing an Ottawa team that's up and coming. They've won in last second and overtimes, but it's good to see that some teams are starting to prop up a little bit in the East, and Hamilton needs a quarterback that can distribute the ball and win a football game. But it's going to be a good game tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
It's funny. I asked you if you were better, and you said not. But I always pay attention to the betting lines, only because it's a good indication of what the experts think is going to happen. Like last week, they had the Riders, BC favored by 10.5 at BC. BC won by 10. Yeah. You know what I mean? So tonight, Ottawa is favored by 2 at home to Hamilton, and that's with both start. They changed the line. It was 3.5, now 2. So they think Ottawa's going to win despite Bo coming back.
It's amazing how good they are at those spreads.
I don't know how they do it.
That's why I don't bet. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
But especially when you look at the NFL, how great they are with that. But, CFL, yeah, I mean, if those are experts and they know what they're talking about, then sounds like we're in for a good game. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. David in Winnipeg says, hey, Rod and Jeff, with the Argos 5-0 and burning through their 2 byes already, do they continue to roll or do they regress and their record brings them down to earth?
I'm not a big fan of the byes, to be honest. I mean, if you have maybe one a year, that's good. But, the byes can take you off of a streak too, right? They take your momentum away. And, the guys go away, then they come back and everything else. So I think it's in their favor that their byes are away now.
Momentum, huh?
Momentum. They can just keep going on a streak, and who knows? As long as they stay healthy, that's always the million-dollar question in the CFL.
You talked about your legs giving out in Louisiana. I wonder about the health thing, though. As the season goes along, now you're a prima donna receiver. You're not a lineman.
Right.
But how banged up do you get through the course of the year? Because, your career was cut short due to injury.
Yeah.
Right?
You get banged up a lot. But this year, I have a theory on that, Rod. This year, there seems to be an awful lot of injuries. And I spent some time at Ryder training camp this year, and I was shocked at how little they did. And, they don't hit. They don't even hardly wear pads. Most of the time, there were 3-hour practices, and I think the first hour and a half was walkthrough. And so I wonder if they're just not conditioned enough. But I'm not saying they're not in shape, because they are. They're in better shape than we were going to training camp. But I'm just wondering if they're not game conditioned, because they're not playing in preseason. And then when they get in that first game, man, it's all guns a-blazing, and you got to play 60 minutes. It's tough.
Then who could have seen that coming? Because I don't know if you heard us talking earlier, Joe Burrow goes down in Cincy camp with a calf injury. Jalen Ramsey tears his knee up. He could in Miami.
I mean, that stuff happens.
No, I know, but they're not contacting either.
Right. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there might be something to that, and they did this to preserve health.
Yeah. I'm not saying you go in and beat the crap out of everybody, but I think there needs to be some football being played in practice. I always like to, I didn't like the hitting in practice. Yes, I was a prima donna receiver, but I did like playing at least a quarter in that first game and at least a half in that second game in preseason, because I wanted my legs to be ready when I know I had to go play a full game that first game of the season.
Isn't that interesting? What I'm saying is I'm piggybacking off what you're saying, or maybe fortifying your theory that they did this to save the bodies, yet ironically more guys are getting hurt.
Yeah. Yeah,
and who could have predicted that?
And the Riders last year, remember, they had all those Achilles injuries from that silly drill that they were doing. Well, again, that's an anomaly, but, you've got to have some, the offensive linemen weren't even hitting the defensive linemen. No wonder people are getting hurt when they go in full speed. It's just, that's a theory. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV.
5-time Grey Cup champion Jim Barker joins us next. Jeff Fairholm's going to stick with us and join us a little later on. We're live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino in Calgary on a Football Friday on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club.
The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Lake Senator Kim Marcus Airborne off the scene. ETA 2 minutes.
The prizes are a draw, but the cause, that's the clincher.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Looking to buy a pre-owned vehicle? With the largest selection of quality pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland, you're sure to find it at Key Auto Group. We'll treat you right every time, and it's all just a click away at keyautogroup.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's a Football Friday live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. By the way, next week, folks, we'll be giving away a couple of pairs of tickets to the Calgary Stampeders' next home game. That's next Friday night. We'll start the contest on Monday. We've been talking NFL, CFL. Jim Barker has worked in all the leagues, won championships in all of them, and he is now on TSN as a football analyst, five-time Grey Cup champion, as I said. Hey, Coach, if you don't mind, if I may. You heard our conversation there. I think you did. What do you think about this injury discussion?
Well, I think Jeff, my first year in the CFL, Jeff was still playing with the Riders. So I got a chance to be on the staff with when Jeff was a player there. And, you know, I completely concur with the whole premise. When they came out with that rule about 4 years ago that you cannot have contact practices, only 2 contact practices and things like that. I don't know how you get ready to play a game where you have to tackle and you have contact every play without having contact. And yet, you know, like, I mean, you look at the preseason this year, quarterbacks hardly even played. Bo Levi played 1 series against the Argos. That was it. The whole preseason had never been.
Trevor Harris too.
Trevor Harris, same thing. Yeah, it makes no sense to me. That whole concept of, I mean, Don Matthews. When I worked for Don, and again, he was the smartest man I ever worked for in the CFL, and was just brilliant. His whole philosophy was the starting quarterback's going to tell me how much he's going to play. And if he needs to play, if Flutie needed 3 quarters, he'd play 3 quarters. If he was ready to come out at halftime, then great. If he wanted to play a whole game, he played the whole game. And that dictated what the starters did. And that was just the way it was. And there was never any worry. He didn't care at all about the injury thing. And in 1997, the year we won the Grey Cup, we had Doug Flutie at quarterback, but we had 6 man games lost the entire season to injury. Now, a lot of that was just Don's reputation of you better be ready because if you get hurt, you may never get your job back. That was the rep Don brought in. But still, it was more of a, and we didn't do a lot of contact once the season started. But in training camp, we sure did, and got people ready. But the amount of injuries nowadays it's crazy. I mean, it's like just watching, and it's in the NFL too. With the Joe Burrow thing is, I'm sure they were terrified it was an Achilles. They say it's just a ruptured calf, but and then you get the meniscus with the defensive back, and it's one of those things that injuries are a part of it. It seems like they've exacerbated, and I don't know if it's the training regimen or that they do in the off season. They come with their muscles so tight. I mean, back in the days when I was there with Fairholm, I remember that was the first year they took beer out of the locker rooms after practice and training camp. I mean, players would go in after training camp and they'd go in the locker room and they'd drink beer for a couple hours, and it was all part of the ritual of the CFL. So I remember, Pooch Hendrickson and Fairholm. Well, he'll talk about this. They rented a milk truck and backed a milk truck up to the locker room so that they could still drink after practice, still have their beers. They just had to do it in the milk truck. So, it was a different mentality, but we had nowhere near the number of injuries that happen now. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks in the CFL, it's mind-blowing.
We should have a camera on Jeff as you talk, because he's sitting there leaning up towards the speaker. And when you talked about the beer, he's like, yeah. Danny Barrett, of all people. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ask him about this. The day I left, it was all the guest coaches were leaving, and Ray Yock, who was he was brilliant. I just loved him. But he said, you guys be ready toward the end of practice as you're running them. Just be ready. And it was a Wednesday practice, and we're running guys on sprints and things. All of a sudden, the milk truck comes up to the practice field, and all the coaches run to get into the milk truck before the players, because they filled it up every Wednesday. So he grabbed all the coaches off the practice field, and we took off to someplace in Regina, I don't know, up on a mountain, and we drank their beer, and it was just a hilarious moment.
There's only one mountain there. There's only one. It's in Douglas Park. Yeah, man-made, I think. But Norm Fong's watching right now, the Hall of Fame equipment manager of the Riders, and he will, I think, back me up on this. Danny Barrett was the one who came in 2000 and said, no beer in the locker room, no alcohol. And that was 2000 when Danny did it. So it's interesting that you said. Sorry to cut you off on that. But
that was 94. That was 1994, and the CFL outlawed it in locker rooms. Teams could still do it, but they outlawed it, and that was like I say, they got the milk truck, because I didn't understand any of it. I had no idea they ever had beer in locker rooms and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So who's making the call on the quarterbacks, and what other skill positions? Guys aren't playing that much in the preseason. Is it the coaches? Is it the owners? Because it's happened in both NFL and CFL. Who's making that call?
It's the head coaches. I'm sure they confer with their general managers if they're not the same guy. I mean, currently the three bottom teams in the league are guys who are head coach / general managers, and so who they discuss with, I don't know. But it's the head coaches, and they're so. Again, it's a business that's very difficult, because there's very few secure people in the coaching profession, and I think that you think, okay, I mean, any team in this league, any team in the NFL, you lose your starting quarterback, your season's gone, and it's very difficult for a coach who knows, okay, if we lose this guy, how do I go ahead and play him in the preseason? And again, back to Don Matthews and preseason philosophies was our quarterback's going to play as much as he needs to play. And that kind of puts the responsibility on the player too. But he also had a philosophy that if they're going to play their starting quarterback, we're going to blitz him every down, and he may complete 100 for 1,000,000 yards, but he's going to get hit every single time he throws the ball. And again, that's kind of just the way coaches are. But yeah, I think it's coaches that make that decision. And when you know what happens, I mean, think about the Bengals. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is, but you go from the starting quarterback Joe Burrow to whoever it is, it's not a pretty sight.
It's a big drop-off. Norm Fong is watching and texts in on the Progressive Insurance text line, 902-518-3033. He says, Rod, the milk truck was used as our equipment truck. This is a true story Coach Barker is telling. Well, I assumed that it was, but thank you, Fongo, for corroborating. Jerry Foote is watching.
He snagged the key. Normie snagged the key out of Pooch's locker so that Ray could take it. So Norm was a part of it and helped.
And went and hid it in the Oriental's den. Yes. Jerry is watching in Halifax. He writes in, he says, hi, Rod, the Halifax game is sold out for quite a while now. I disagree that the CFL would not make it here. Halifax is booming. Second fastest growth in Canada right now. Starved for pro sports entertainment. We packed the Scotiabank Centre with pro lacrosse that has no lineage here. Watch tomorrow, and it will rock. I'm not anti-Halifax. I'm not anti-CFL in Halifax. Let's do it. And stop talking about it then. That's all that I'm saying, Jerry. How excited are you for the game, both on the field and off, Jim?
Touchdown Atlantic is an exciting thing. It's an exciting thing. It's exciting for the players. He's right. I mean, we played in Moncton the first year I went there in 2010 or 2011. And we played in Moncton, and I went to some high school games the Friday before the game. The night before the game, I went to maybe 3 different high school games in the area. They were sold out. Kids all had their faces painted. I was blown away. I was shocked at the football there. I've always felt that it would be a lot like Saskatchewan, where people drive for 5 hours, 6 hours to go to the game. I just feel that same kind of thing in Halifax. Now, with that being said, they have a lot of things going on right now. I mean, with some of the flooding and some of the things that have gone on in the past, couple months even. I mean, there's the money for a stadium, and I believe there's a lot of wealthy people there that would like to do something like this. The question is, can they make it work in an interim basis until they establish enough people that can sustain a 20,000 seat stadium, which is probably what they'd be looking at. So I know it's been close a couple times. In 2018, Bruce Bowser, who owns AMJ Campbell, Bruce was very close to. He had about 8 different people, and I met with all of them, and we were in Ottawa for the Grey Cup together, and it was very close. But, things with, where the stadium was going to be and the tax structure and things like that, it just kind of fell apart, and that seems to be what's happened. So I think it would be fantastic. I do think there's a bit of a problem because of the timing. They don't even... Like you get most games, if they start at 7:30 in Toronto in the East, that's 8:30 there. So they're watching games having to watch games at midnight, and then any game from the West that comes, they're watching at 1 and 2 in the morning, and that's a bit of a problem. I know what BC's doing now, playing a ton of 4 o'clock Saturday games. And Sunday games, but at 4 o'clock has been gold for the CFL. I think the ratings are up. I think the people are watching the games more, and I love what they're doing with the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule. It's like, I mean, you have for 4 days, you got a CFL game every day, and that's pretty exciting.
It's fantastic on national television, and the ratings are up, and they show it. Or maybe it's because you're on there. I'm not sure. But it's all working together, going the right way, Jim. Listen, we have 3 minutes. Bo Levi, to me, a bit of a surprise starter tonight for the Ticats at Ottawa. How do you think that affects the game?
Well, obviously it affects it. I wasn't surprised because you don't take a guy off on the 5th week of the 6th game when he's a high-ticket guy unless you know he can do all the things he has to do. So when they took him off the 6th game list, I said to everybody, he's going to be playing. There's no way they're taking him off and he's not playing. Again, the question for me is where is he at physically all over? I mean, not just his shoulder, which was a problem last year, and whatever the injury is he had now, and again, I don't understand enough about it, but I felt, Bo Levi was he's got a great chance. If he comes back and does, he likes to talk about it like Ricky Ray, having a second start, because they're the same age as Ricky Ray was when he came to Toronto. The difference is that, Ricky's injuries and things kind of bypassed him before he came to Toronto, where in Bo Levi's case, he had injuries all the way through since 2019. So, I hope he can play great. The league needs him to play great. I do like the young guy they played, Taylor Powell. I think he's a bright young guy. It's kind of an exciting time. Even the Riders with Mason Fine going against the Argos this week. I was so excited to see Mason last week, because these young quarterbacks our league right now is we need some of them to step up. Dustin Crum style. What Dustin Crum has done is fantastic. After watching him for a game and a half, I turned to somebody and it was, I don't know, I think Calgary had a chance. They went for it on third down. And I said to the guy I was watching the game with, I said, they just don't think this kid can come back, that he can throw well enough to beat them. And that's why that's why they go for it like that. Well, he came back and right after I said that, he threw 3 or 4 of the best passes I've seen thrown all year. So, if guys can step up like that, Mason Fine's problem, I thought that Kelly Jeffrey gave him you talk about putting handcuffs on a young guy. It's like, how many second and long passes could you complete and then have to punt before you say, you know what, let the kid stretch the zones. Let him try to throw the ball in the crease on time and be able to get 7-8 yards instead of throwing 4 so he can get 10, and that kind of thing. I hated and I have a lot of respect for Kelly. He was on our staff. I didn't feel he gave Mason and again, that's a hard thing for a coach. If you've never had a guy, Mason Fine's much different. That Dustin Crum comes in and he's only been in the league 6 games. Mason Fine has been here for almost a year and a half, 2 years. They've made a decision. We can win a Grey Cup with this guy. And plaudits to Craig Dickinson for you can't play the guy one game. This is the first time now where he's really got a chance to show, am I good enough to be that guy? And that's, to me, that's so crucial. I know you got to go, but I get this quarterback thing has me fired up.
I can tell. Well, I appreciate the insight as always. We're watching all the time, Jim. Thanks. I appreciate this, and we'll chat with you next week.
Very good. Thanks, Rod.
TSN analyst and 5-time Grey Cup champion Jim Barker, former coach of the Stampeders, joining us from, I think, Touchdown Atlantic. More with Jeff Fairholm when we return. His rebuttal. When we come back, 2-time Grey Cup champion Jeff Fairholm with us here at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. We'll return in a moment on this Football Friday on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, WQE Radio, and podcast.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Ryan Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We're back live at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino in Calgary. And Jeff Fairholm is with us. And he does, well, he's NCAA alum, two-time Grey Cup champion, but he follows the NFL too. So I got to mention this. Thank you, Karen. Our poll question today for Key Auto Group is, well, first of all, at Key Auto Group, you can buy with confidence knowing that they provide reports on all the vehicles they sell. Get fully informed with your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. You just heard Jim Barker mention Joe Burrow went down with a calf injury with the Cincinnati Bengals, and our question is, should the Bengals be very concerned, not very concerned, or you're undecided? And the majority is saying very concerned with the injury to Joe Burrow. And I get it. He's the franchise. But Jeff Fairholm, how are you voting in that poll?
Kind of depends on how bad the injury is, right? If he's short time, I'm not concerned because he's got enough experience. He can step in and play a game tomorrow. If it's somewhat long term, I'm concerned for their record this year for sure.
Barker said, I don't even know who the backup is, and I'm like,
I don't either.
I don't either. Isn't that saying something?
Yeah.
Now, do you want to not rebut any of these stories because you were nodding your head when Barker was saying all of them? You guys used to hide beer in the locker room?
We never really had to hide beer. In my day, I mean, it's not like we were getting bombed in the locker room or anything. I mean, it was one of those things where, the boys would sit around and have a beer or two after practice and replenish some fluids and go home. I mean, it's just the way it was. And when I was in Toronto, I remember Chris Coulter was the guy who would sort of gather everyone together, or those of us who wanted to go, and in the back of his pickup truck, and we'd sit on a dirt road somewhere outside of Guelph and have a few pops and then get ready to go. It was more of a team building thing than anything.
Never get enough talking about Doug Flutie, and you won a Grey Cup with him. Tell us something about Flutie that's cool.
He was really good ad lib, which is another side of it, which is why I never really meshed with Doug, because I needed, you give me a route, you give me an adjustment, and I'll figure it out. But Doug would literally, I remember in Montreal, the only time I played in Montreal, he was literally drawing plays up in the huddle. You go here, Jeff, you go here, Mazzotti, you go here, you go. I was shocked, and it just didn't vibe with me, but he was so good at that stuff. And look at the way he played, even his ad lib and when he's running. He was just so good at football, and he was just such a tremendous athlete.
It's a little surprising to me he had the success he did because coaches don't like that, as you know. Well, they like winning. He did a lot of that.
Yeah, he did a lot of that. I think you have to have the right coach, and you know Doug's going to do that. And if you don't agree with it, then you're going to butt heads, and you're not going to win. So you have to have the right coach and the right player to mesh. And you know, when quarterback and head coach or quarterback and offensive coordinator have to mesh, and they, you know, most people did with him.
It's quite interesting what Jim Barker just said about the offensive play calling in Saskatchewan for Mason Fine, their young now starter with the injury to Trevor Harris. You coached for a while. I couldn't do it, man. Just to be criticized 6 ways from Sunday, especially Barker knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't like the game plan that Kelly Jeffrey had. I couldn't do it.
You know, I didn't mind the game plan to start when the running game wasn't going, because I think if the running game was going, I think that game plan was fine. And let the defense win the game, and hopefully Alford, he didn't, but hopefully Alford could score a touchdown or something. I didn't mind the game plan to start. What bothered me was the lack of change throughout the game. You know, the so-called halftime adjustments didn't occur. So they just kept doing the same thing. The running game wasn't working. They were throwing the ball short. I think he was, in the first half, he was, 14 of 18 for 91 yards or something. And, you know, that's just not going to cut it. And especially against a good tackling team like BC, you know, you can't throw, I think Jim said it, you can't throw, you know, 2nd and 10, throw it 4 yards and expect your receiver every time to get the extra 6 against a good tackling team like that. That's asking a lot.
The Stampeders, let me tell you this, they haven't won a home game yet. You're a CFL guy, you're following the league. Should they be concerned or not concerned?
I don't think they're concerned. I mean, it's the overall record that matters. I think it might be a concern from the you know, bums in the seats kind of thing, which is, you know, a big part of the income for these teams. But I wouldn't be concerned at this point in time. You know, we're having this discussion in October, maybe, but right now it's still fairly early.
Well, it's what I love about pro football, especially sports in general. We make these outrageous assumptions very early in the year.
We do.
But it's what we do.
We do, but people look ahead so far. I mean, my mother-in-law was talking about when she should put her snow tires on. We haven't even gotten out of July yet. So, you know, some people are like that, right? So, you know,
yeah.
To each their own.
But, yes, but again, I see it from both sides, because I talked to a guy this morning, a broadcaster pro guy, and he just said, I can't do it anymore. The world's changed. And I get that. Because everybody's got a voice,
and
right?
Social media now, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it used to be just the call-in shows, and, you know, somebody might write, you know, a letter to the editor or something. Now it's like, oh my God, everybody has an opinion, and they're hiding behind, you know,
anonymous
an icon.
names, yeah.
So everybody has an opinion. It's tough to be playing and coaching and doing anything in sports these days.
Yeah, well, it's just interesting. We'll wind this up with Jeff. We'll see if maybe come back in the next segment, but we got some time here. Just in Sask, I remember, because it's a small league in the CFL, so we would have friends, same as you, that would go to other teams. But they know what it's like to play for Sask because they did. And they said that they would sit on the bus, the visiting team, outside Taylor Field and turn the radio on to the post-game show, especially if they just kicked the Riders' butt, which most teams did, and they would just go, oh my God.
I made the mistake after my first game to listen to the call-in show.
Don't do that.
Never again. I mean, you know, they weren't saying anything bad about me, thank goodness, but, you know, just, yeah, you just don't want to hear that stuff because you want everybody to be a positive, you know, positive fan, and it's just not like that out there.
We do have some questions from the viewers. John in Winnipeg, John Ohm says, Jeff, any rule changes you would like to see in the CFL? Or any other changes besides the rules?
Well, that's a really good question. I would say no. I hadn't thought about it. My initial reaction would be no, not at this point. I liked what they did with the hashes and, you know, things like that, and moving the ball up and making scoring better. But has it really affected the game? I don't think it has. So making rule changes to make rule changes, I'm not a fan of. I've heard a lot of people talking about the Rouge. Don't ever get rid of that. You know,
how could you get rid of that?
I love the Rouge. I think
so do I.
It makes the game, but a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like awarding a point for a missed field goal, as an example. But I like it. It's just, it's one of those things that makes the Canadian game what it is.
I don't think it should be taken out at all, but what if they did take out the missed field goal portion? You can still score a single on a kickoff.
Sure.
And a punt. Yeah. That should be enough.
I'm okay with compromise. Been married a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Successfully, yes. So, any last thoughts, Jeff? Enjoying summer? Enjoying life?
I'm enjoying the summer. I wish the riders were, didn't have so many injuries. And I do a little 7-minute radio deal before the game every week, and it seems like I'm always talking about negative things, and it's unfortunate because I only talk about the offense. So, I wish they would play a little bit better. I think I wish that the riders would settle down. I don't like hearing about all the talk right now about Dickinson getting fired and everything else. They're not going to fire him. Let him go. They're not going to fire him right now. Wait till the end of the season. So stay positive. It's nice outside. Let's all enjoy our CFL.
It's a unique place. As Lancaster said, if they haven't heard a rumor by noon, they start one.
Yeah, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jeff Fairholm, 2-time Grey Cup champion. Thanks for coming down.
My pleasure.
Enjoy touchdown Atlanta. Yeah, we'll see you at the races, hopefully.
Look forward to that.
Overtime is next. We got a sports update and audience takeover. We are live from Century Downs on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Looking to buy a pre-owned vehicle? With the largest selection of quality pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland, you're sure to find it at Key Auto Group. We'll treat you right every time, and it's all just a click away at keyautogroup.ca.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Looking to buy a pre-owned vehicle? With the largest selection of quality pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland, you're sure to find it at Key Auto Group. We'll treat you right every time, and it's all just a click away at keyautogroup.ca.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's overtime for the Four Seasons Sports Palace here, home for the UFC and the National Football League. We got some NFL news coming up for you on this Football Friday. That's a good look at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino, the Chuck Wagon World Finals here at the WPCA, August 23rd to 27th. You can get your tickets now at showpass.com. On Saturday, it is Packwood Grand. I'm very much looking forward to that. And we will be watching Touchdown Atlantic, 2 p.m. Mountain in the Sports Lounge if you care to join us. A little de facto watch party. Sports update on this Friday. European champions England beat Denmark 1-0 at the FIFA Women's World Cup in Sydney, Australia already this morning. England leads Group D at 2-0. Denmark, my country, my countrymen, fall to 1-1. Country women, I guess. Meanwhile, China picked up its first victory by downing winless 81-all. Canada finishes the group stage Monday with a pivotal game against the co-host Australians. The Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game series with the LA Angels at Rogers Centre tonight. Toronto sends ace Kevin Gausman to the mound against LA's Lucas Giolito. The Blue Jays currently occupy the American League's 3rd wildcard spot. Should be a fun weekend. Jays come out of beating the Dodgers in the midweek series at LA and now return home to face the Angels, a team that served notice that they are going for it. So a great measuring stick for the Blue Jays, who are actually, was it a win ahead of where they were last year? The Ottawa Redblacks will go for their first 3-game win streak in 5 years when they host the Ticats tonight to kick off Week 8 in the CFL. Rookie quarterback Dustin Crum led the Redblacks to back-to-back OT wins since taking over from Jeremiah Masoli 3 weeks ago. Veteran quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell makes his return for the Ticats. That was tremendous analysis from Jim Barker earlier this hour when he said the second he heard the Ticats were taking him off the 6-game injured list early to practice this week, he knew that he was going to play. That was like on Tuesday, because he said they wouldn't have done that if they weren't going to play him. That's what makes Jim Barker really good in his role as an analyst now on TSN. So from Miami this morning, home of the Dolphins, Jalen Ramsey, set for surgery today, addressed his Miami Dolphins teammates Thursday about the injury that he suffered in practice this week and told them not to worry or feel sorry for him. The 6-time Pro Bowl corner suffered a torn meniscus in his left knee Thursday. He's expected to miss the start of the regular season. But he vowed that he could beat whatever timeline for a doctor's return. Head coach Mike McDaniel spoke with the Miami media today and said, quote, his speech really moved a lot of people. His vow to come back early. McDaniel said Ramsey is having surgery this afternoon to repair the tear, and his timeline for return won't be known until the procedure is complete. The injury happened in an 11-on-11 drill during Miami's second practice of camp. McDaniel said it was a non-contact injury that happened while he was matched up against receiver Tyreek Hill. Ramsey and Hill collided on the play, but the injury happened before the contact, McDaniel said. The Dolphins acquired the all-pro corner in a trade with the LA Rams in March. He's supposed to be key to their Super Bowl hopes. And now he's gone, they're thinking 6 to 8 weeks. That sucks. Sports updates brought to you in part by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters, August 4th, Meg 2, The Trench. Meg 2 is an upcoming science fiction film based on the 1999 book The Trench by Steve Elton, serving as a sequel to the 2018 film The Meg. It stars Jonas Taylor as a rescue diver, and they follow him through his encounter with a 75-foot-long megalodon shark. Meg 2, The Trench, in theaters August 4th. So we enjoy you playing along with us for 2 hours in the live studio audience down here at Century Downs today. Brian writes in on the Progressive Insurance text line. He says, another outstanding RP show. This is Brian in Beausejour, Manitoba. He says, already looking forward to next week's slate. Have a great weekend and enjoy the games that you all are watching. Thank you, Brian. I can guarantee you this. Kelly Rudy will be here on Wednesday. The NHL great goaltender, Hockey Night in Canada analyst, Calgary Flames TV color man. Kelly Rudy is going to be in that chair on Wednesday if anybody cares to join us. Allie in Texarkana says, have a great weekend, RP Squad. Great show as always, Rod and crew. I appreciate you, Allie, sticking through all of that Canadian Football League talk. But it's a great league. We love it a lot. We're going to be watching a lot of the games this weekend. Sports on tap tonight that we like to do that we'll be following. We mentioned the Blue Jays home to the Angels. Ottawa Red Blacks home to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. There are 3 games in the Canadian Elite Basketball League tonight. The Calgary Surge on the road. They visit the Saskatchewan Rattlers. SaskTel Center tonight. Get out there and get your tickets to support the most up-and-coming pro league in Canada. We love it so much. The Brampton Honey Badgers are at the Scarborough Shooting Stars tonight. I'm not sure if any of these are on TSN, but you can go to their website and check out more, cebl.ca. And the Montreal Alliance are at the Niagara River Lions. So if you're in those areas, get a ticket and go check it out. Here in Calgary, you can get in for just $37. It's amazing. Last minute of play in today's RP show. And the week. Randy in Winnipeg predicts Argos 44, Riders 13.
How about that?
Have a great weekend, everybody. Yeah. Should have been asking all the viewers for their predictions throughout the course of this 2-hour show today. Too late now. So on Monday, we already know Gus Frerotte will be joining us as he stiffed us today, the Pro Bowl NFL quarterback from Pittsburgh. Always looking forward to getting on the bus with Gus. Thanks to Jeff Fairholm. Thanks to Jim Barker. Thanks to the folks that came down here to Century Downs today. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here noon Eastern on Monday on Game Plus WQEE. Podcasted, of course, YouTube Live. Be safe.
Bob's your uncle.
Who has more fun than us?